Now, the keepers have been working with the seals for a long time now, so they understand each seal's individual personality, their behaviors, and they can tell if a seal is behaving abnormally or if a seal is not doing so well, and they can schedule a vet visit if required. Now, let me talk about the seals a bit. You may notice there are 4 seals, 4 keepers working with 4 seals today. The 2 smaller seals are harbor seals. I see one of them is up on the rock on the far side, right by the door for the keepers. And the larger seals are grey seals. The grey seals, as I mentioned, are larger than the harbor seals, and they have a much longer snout, a much longer nose. The harbor seals have mostly white spots all around their bodies, mostly on their underbelly. Now, training at the Lincoln Park Zoo follows a 4-step process, which is really easy to remember if you can remember the 4 R's, and that is request, response, reward, and repeat. So, as part of the first step, the keepers will request different behaviors from the seals. I noticed one of the keepers tossed their target pole into the water and requested that the seal retrieve that target pole for them. Now, that may sound like a very common game of fetch, but it's so much more important for the seals. In the wild, seals are required to dive into deep, dark waters to hunt and retrieve fish, and this behavior reinforces that hunting instinct. It also lets the keepers check on the vision and the location skills of the seals. You may also notice them using verbal requests or hand gestures to ask different behaviors, such as bob up out of the water, come up on the land, wave their flippers, and that lets the keepers check on the mobility of the seals, make sure they are able to move around their habitat without any hindrance, and also make sure all their body parts are working properly and they aren't injured in any way. Now, the second step is the response. The seals are doing an excellent job today responding with all the right behaviors, and that is awesome. But sometimes on a nice sunny day like this, the seals may not be in the mood to participate. They might just want to do their own thing, and that is completely alright as well. These training sessions are voluntary, which means we never force the seals to participate. They choose to do so of their own free will. But when they participate and when they do such an excellent job at responding with all the right behaviors, we move on to the third step, which is my favorite step, the reward. Now, I know I like to be rewarded every time I do a job well done, and I'm sure the seals feel the same. So you might notice the keepers have a stainless steel bucket with them, through which they are getting a food reward. And I'm sure everyone can guess what they're eating. Let's try something. Does anyone think they like eating Jello? Raise your hands if you think they get Jello. I see 2 hands over there. Well, you guys are actually right. On very rare occasions, sometimes they might get some sugarless and flavorless Jello. Jello has the same texture of fish, and it has a lot of water in it. Seals do not drink water because they live in the oceans where the water is salty. So they get all the water from their food, so from the fish, and in some cases, Jello over here at the zoo. But most often, the seals love eating fish. As part of their vet-approved daily diet, they get capelin, herring, anchovies, and silverside. Now, the fourth and most important step of this process is repetition. So just like practice makes perfect for you and I, it's the same for the seals. We do these training sessions regularly and up to 3 times a day. So the seals have plenty of opportunities to practice all these different behaviors and get comfortable with them. And they can even move on to more complex behaviors.